Hello students, how are you? In first part of this chapter, life processes, we have seen about autotrophic type of nutrition, in which we have discussed about photosynthesis and the requirements of photosynthesis. So what were the requirements of photosynthesis? We have studied as well as we have proved that these are the things which are required for photosynthesis purpose. I have given you homework also, in which I told you to prove that sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. Most of the students have reported, they have written that homework, they have taken snaps of that homework and they have sent it on my mobile number. This was a simple experiment. Basically, try to understand and do remember, photosynthesis is nothing but synthesis of starch. And when starch synthesis has taken place, it means photosynthesis has taken place. If starch synthesis has not taken place, it means that photosynthesis doesn't take place. So, in that experiment which I told you to perform or say to prove, to write, in that what you have to do was, you have to take one potted plant, you have to keep it in 3 to 4, keep it for 3 to 4 days in dark room. In dark room, all the photosynthesis will get utilized, so that in leaves photosynthesis, that is starch, will not be available. Then this plant, we have to select one leaf as it is on the plant. We have to partially cover the leaflet with the help of black pepper, and then we have to bring it in the sunlight. In sunlight we have to keep it for 3 to 4 hours, and then we have to pluck two leaves, one which was not covered and one which was covered with black strip. Why black strip? Black strip will not allow sunlight to reach till that particular part of leaf. After plucking it, then we have to do the next part of that experiment, that is, what was that? Boil in the water so that softening of leaf will take place, then boil in the alcohol so that pigments will get dissolved in the alcohol, and then we have to go for iodine test. The part which was covered with black strip will not show blue-black color, whereas remaining part will show blue-black color. So here we prove that when sunlight did not reach till the leaves where photosynthesis does not took place, whereas where the sunlight has reached, here photosynthesis has taken place, because it shows blue-black color, that is synthesis of starch. It was a simple experiment. I hope most of you might have written it. Let us start with next topic, that is heterotrophic type of nutrition. So today we will start with second part of nutrition type, that is heterotrophic type of nutrition. We have seen that heterotrophic type of nutrition have different types, that is as per saprophytic, parasitic and holozoic. Saprophytic type of nutrition, fungi, mucor, mushrooms which grows on dead and decaying material, they are called as the saprophytic type of nutrition. Parasitic type of nutrition are the type of nutrition which live on other living organisms, which obtain their food from other living organisms. For example, leech is there, Amoeba. Then holozoic type of nutrition, that is which engulf their food, which take their food inside their body and digest it. That is, they are called as a holozoic type of nutrition. So these different types of nutrition, amongst them we have holozoic type of nutrition in our syllabus, where we have to see that the organisms which are taking food inside their body, they digest it, and waste material they are throwing out of their body. First example, it is given as amoeba. In amoeba, what happened? Nutrition in amoeba, with the help of pseudopodia, that is false fruits, Amoeba covers its food and create vacuole around it, hence taking food inside the body and secrete digestive enzymes in vacuoles. Once food get digested, amoeba absorb nutrients from vacuoles and throw out of remaining undigested material out of the body. So you can see here these are called as a pseudopodia. So this is red part is shown as a food particle, and this food particle is engulfed with the help of pseudopodia. This pseudopodia will get covered and they will form a vacuole. This vacuole will be inside the body of the amoeba, and in this inside this vacuole there will be secretion of enzymes, digestion of food will take place, and the same process, reverse process will take place. This undigested material will be thrown out of the body, pseudopodia will open and they will send it outside the body. So this is a holozoic type of nutrition which is shown in our book in figure 6.5. You can find it out that how the kind of holozoic nutrition is. Now let us go towards next, that is nutrition in human beings. We have seen that what are the human digestive system. Human digestive system consists of alimentary canal and digestive glands. A pipe from mouth till anus is called as the alimentary canal, and digestive glands which are present inside the mouth, which are present inside the stomach, which are present inside the liver, which are present in the pancreas, as well as some of them are present in the small intestine also. So all these digestive glands and alimentary canal together help in digestion of food, and that is a nutrition in human thing. Mouth, this is mouth. Inside this mouth there is a buccal cavity. Then this part is called as the esophagus. Then this is a stomach part. Then this part which is shown inside, it is a small intestine. Here remaining part, this is called as a large intestine, and at last there is a anus. So these are the parts of alimentary canal. And which are the glands? I told you here sublingual glands are there which are secreting salivary amylase. Here stomach, inside stomach there are certain glands, in liver there are certain glands, and in pancreas certain glands are present, as well as in small intestine also certain types of glands are present which are helping to digest the food. So let us see next. Let's start with the help of animation how the digestive system works. So let's start with it.
Digestion in human beings. Human beings take food through mouth and digest it in specific organs for digestion. The undigested food is defecated. The food we take passes through a specific canal which begins with buccal cavity and ends at the anus. This canal is called alimentary canal or the digestive tract. The parts of the alimentary canal are buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, large intestine, small intestine, rectum, and anus. The food gets digested gradually as it passes through the various parts of the tract. Digestive juices secreted by the salivary glands, liver, and pancreas also aid digestion. Mouth and the buccal cavity. Food intake in human beings is through mouth. This process of taking food is called ingestion. Chewing.
So taking food inside the mouth, it is called as an ingestion, and sending out food out of the body, it is called as an egestion. Ingestion, ingestion, and egestion, egestion. Only I and E difference is there. Ingestion as well as egestion. Now inside the buccal cavity there are teeth. So different 32 teeth are present. We know that. So which are that teeth? Can you tell me? So I told you the formula how to remember the teeth in 6th standard or 7th standard. We have discussed somewhere that ICPM, incisors, canines, premolars, and molars. These are the 4 types of teeth which are present in the buccal cavity. Mastication of the food. mastication of the food takes place in the buccal cavity, and from that for that the tongue, which is a muscular part, it helps for mastication of food and guiding the food towards the esophagus.
Digestion in human beings. Human beings take food through mouth and digest it in specific organs for digestion. The undigested food is defecated. The food we take passes through a specific canal which begins with buccal cavity and ends at the anus. This canal is called alimentary canal or the digestive tract. The parts of the alimentary canal are buccal cavity, esophagus, stomach, large intestine, small intestine, rectum, and anus. The food gets digested gradually as it passes through the various parts of the tract. Digestive juices secreted by the salivary glands, liver, and pancreas also aid digestion. Mouth and the buccal cavity. Food intake in human beings is through mouth. This process of taking food is called ingestion. Chewing food is very necessary for proper digestion as digestion process starts in the mouth itself. What happens during chewing? The large pieces of food we eat are mechanically broken down into small pieces. Teeth helps us in doing so. Action of saliva on food. During chewing, food mixes with saliva. Saliva is secreted from salivary glands located on the lower jaw between the tongue and teeth. Saliva converts starch in the food into sugars and also softens the food. Tongue. Taste of food can be detected by the taste buds present on the tongue. Tongue is a fleshy muscular organ attached to the floor of the buccal cavity. It is free at the front and moves in all directions. Taste buds appear as small bumps on the tongue and have different regions which help us enjoy different tastes. Esophagus or food pipe. The swallowed food from the mouth passes onto the esophagus. The epiglottis, which is a flap-like structure behind the tongue, directs the food into the esophagus and prevents entry into the larynx. The peristaltic movements of the esophagus helps the food to move down the tract till it reaches the stomach. Stomach. Stomach is a bag-like structure with thick wall. It is in the shape of a flattened U and is the widest part in the alimentary canal. The food that enters the stomach is churned and mixes with the mucus, hydrochloric acid and digestive juices secreted by the inner lining of the stomach. The acid helps to kill the bacteria present in the food. It also makes the medium in the stomach acidic. The digestive juices secreted by the stomach break down proteins into simpler substances. Then the food is emptied into small intestine. Small intestine. Small intestine is a highly coiled structure and is about 7.5 meters long. As soon as the small intestine receives food from the stomach, the digestive juices from liver and pancreas are mixed into it. Liver. Liver is the largest gland in the human body and is situated in the upper side of the abdomen. To the right, it is reddish-brown in color. It secretes bile, which breaks down fats. Bile is stored in gallbladder between meals. Pancreas. Pancreas is a leaf-shaped and cream-colored gland located just below the stomach.
It secretes pancreatic juice, which acts and breaks down carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. After this is completed, the partially digested food reaches the lower part of the small intestine, where intestinal juices act upon the food and completes digestion of any remaining components in food. The carbohydrates in the food break down into sugars like glucose, fats into fatty acids, and glycerol, and proteins into amino acids. The food consumed is digested and is now ready to be absorbed into the blood. Absorption of food in the small intestine. The inner wall of the small intestine has finger-like projections called villi, which have a network of thin blood vessels close to the surface. The villus increases the surface area of absorption and absorbs the digested food materials. The substances thus absorbed are transported through the bloodstream to different organs in the body and are used to build complex substances like proteins. This process is called assimilation. In the cells, glucose breaks down into carbon dioxide and water with the help of oxygen and releases energy. The undigested and unabsorbed food enters the large intestine. Large intestine. The large intestine is wider than small intestine and measures 1.5 meters in length. Once the undigested food enters the large intestine, it absorbs water and some salts from it and passes the remaining waste into the rectum. Here it remains as semi-solid fecus. The fecal matter is removed through the anus. This is called ingestion.
I told you saliva is secreted inside the mouth. This saliva helps to digest starch into glucose. So digestion of our food, digestion process in our body starts from mouth itself. As we know that most of the part or our food, most of the part is consist of carbohydrates, that is starch. When the starch is secreted, when starch is engulfed, at that time the starch is broken down into glucose. So digestion process starts in mouth itself. So we are asked always to chew food for 32 times. Why 32 times? Because when we are chewing food for 32 times, saliva properly get mixed with the food and inside mouth itself starch get converted into glucose. So this glucose, so this food plus saliva collectively it will be considered as called as bolus, and this bolus will be sent towards the esophagus. So one experiment can be done. You can take some starch and with the help of saliva you can mix it and you can put it in the test tube, and after some time you can taste it for starch test, that is whether starch is present or not. Starch will be digested with by the initially if you take taste, that time starch will be seen in the test tube, but at the same time same after 4 to 5 hours of mixing saliva you will find that starch is disappeared, starch get converted into glucose. So this is a simple experiment we can do at home also with the help of salivary amylase, that is saliva, we can prove that starch get converted into glucose. Now what happened next in esophagus? See here, when this bolus comes from buccal cavity to the esophagus, at that time this food will go with the help of peristaltic movement. This is called as a peristaltic movement, and this question can be asked which type of movement is found in the alimentary canal. So peristaltic type of movement, see very closely, if you can see this food is moving through esophagus by the process, by the method of peristaltic, by the movement of peristaltic movement. This is very important part. Now this is a part that is a J-shaped part that is called as considered as a stomach. Inside stomach proteins get digested. We have seen that starch get digested in the mouth. Now proteins will get digested in the stomach. Proteins will get converted into amino acids, and for conversion of proteins there is a requirement of one enzyme. Its name is pepsin. When this pepsin is present inside the stomach, at that time it requires acidic medium, and for that HCl is also secreted by the stomach. HCl is very strong acid. It kills bacteria as well as some pathogens if at all they are present in the food. Some fungi if they are present in the food, they will be killed by this concentrated acid that is called as a HCl. But this HCl is harmful also. So how to get rid of it? How to get rid of from this HCl? Because stomach may get disturbed because of this HCl. So to get rid of it, stomach secretes mucus, and lining of mucus is formed around the stomach. Inside inner lining of stomach is covered with the help of mucus, which does not allow HCl directly act on the stomach wall. So HCl, mucus and pepsin, these are the three substances which are secreted by the stomach, and it helps to break down proteins into amino acids. It is told, can you understood? Small intestine is the longest part of our alimentary canal. It is near about 7.5 meters long. How much? 7.5 meters long. If you can't understand 7.5 meter long, how much it is? Take sari in your home. Now mother's sari might be there. So how long it is? That much long. More than little more than that. That much long our small intestine is, and which is present inside our stomach, or say below the stomach. This is the very important part. In this stomach, in this small intestine, there are finger-like projections. In this, there are finger-like projections which increases the surface area, and it helps to absorb. It helps to absorb the digested material inside the blood vessels. So this is about small intestine. So see, this is a liver as largest gland. Which is the largest gland of the human body? Question can be asked in the examination, or in general knowledge also. These questions are asked in competitive examinations, that which is the largest part of the human body. So liver is the largest part of the human body. As we have seen, inside stomach there was acidic juices, HCl was secreted. Now as it comes to the small intestine, what will happen? It will disturb small intestine. So to nullify it, to neutralize it, these bile juices are secreted by the liver, and they get mixed with the digested food material, and it will be sent towards the small intestine. Before that, pancreatic juices, in which trypsin and lipase converts lipids into fatty acids and glycerol. This lipase, and from this side, which juices? Bile juices are secreted and entered in the small intestine. So lipase digests lipids, that is fats, into fatty acids. Bile juices neutralizes the acidic material which is coming from the stomach, and it also helps in the emulsification of fats. As well as there is one more enzyme secreted by the pancreas, and its name is trypsin. There is one protein, tryptophan, which will be broken down with the help of trypsin only. There is no requirement as such. Like pepsin, there is no requirement of acidic medium. Trypsin can work at neutral medium also. So pancreas are secreting trypsin, and which broke. So complete digestion of food takes place in small intestine. Once again, this question can be asked: in which part of alimentary canal complete digestion of food takes place? So small intestine is the part where complete digestion of food takes place. In small intestine, intestinal juices are secreted, and these intestinal juices helps the remaining undigested food particles, if at all, if any are there, they will be digested by the intestinal juices, and these intestinal juices along with these. So now in small intestine, I told you finger-like projections are there. It will help to, that is, digestion of food. Surprisingly, interestingly, small intestine and large intestine, these names are not given on the basis of their length. Yes, they are given on the basis of their width. Small intestine's width is small, that's why it is called as a small intestine, but it is more lengthy, longer. It is longer than the large intestine. Large intestine's width is more, but it is shorter than the small intestine. So length of small intestine is about 7 meters, whereas length of large intestine is only 1.5 meter. Okay, so don't get confused in small intestine and large intestine. What happens in large intestine is reabsorption of water and salts takes place. Reabsorption of water and salts because along with food, a lot of water is present. If the same amount of water need to be sent out of the body, it is not affordable for our body. So remaining whatever amount of water and salts can be reabsorbed, they will be reabsorbed in the large intestine. Large intestine doesn't have any role in the digestion of food. It is meant for reabsorption of water as well as salts only. Do remember it. And then remaining material will be sent out of the anus, that is called as a fecal matter. That is called as a fecal matter. And from this large intestine, this process of sending out the food material, it is called as a egestion. Initially we have seen ingestion, now it is egestion. So this was about food, digestion of food in the human beings. Now dental caries means cavities. What it is actually? See, we are asked always to brush our teeth regularly, twice in a day, but hardly we listen to someone, and in the morning only we are cleaning our teeth, we are brushing our teeth. But what happens when we are taking food inside when we are taking food, during that time some of the food particles remain locked in between the teeth, and during night time we know that certain types of bacteria which are present in the food, they starts decomposition of this food material, and this is anaerobic process. So secretion of acids starts in our mouth, and then due to this acidic material our teeth get disturbed, and that is called as our teeth are getting disturbed, or say this our teeth have some problems like toothache and all that. These are called as a dental caries, or dental we call it as a cavities. So what is the solution for this is regularly we should brush our teeth, and from that we can get rid of from the dental caries. Brush your teeth twice in a day is the only solution to get rid of from the dental caries. Now let us go towards next part of our chapter, that is respiration. Now as far as respiration is concerned, this respiration is of two types, that is physiological respiration, that is external. In day-to-day life we call it as a breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. This part is called as a physiological, that is external respiration, that is called as a breathing. And cellular respiration, at cell level there is another type of respiration, and this respiration is cellular respiration, where actual breaking down of the food takes place. Photosynthesis and respiration, these are the physiological process. Physiological processes can be categorized into two types. They are I told you, catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism means breakdown. Respiration is a catabolic process. Anabolism means conversion or construction, that is photosynthesis is a anabolic process. Formation of starch, anabolic process. Formation of lipids, anabolic process. Breakdown of starch, catabolic process. Breakdown of lipid, catabolic process. So at cellular level, whatever food was absorbed through blood, with the help of blood we have sent it to the different parts of the body at cell level, and at cell level it needs to be breakdown. For that oxygen will be required. So this is called as a cellular or cell level respiration. Let's see animation, how exchange of gas takes place in human body, that is respiratory system.
You learn about respiration in human beings. How do human beings respire? In human beings, air is drawn into the body through the nostrils. Nostrils are lined with fine hairs and mucus that filter the air as it passes through. Next, the air travels through the throat and then moves through a pipe called trachea. Trachea contains cartilaginous rings that ensure smooth flow of air into the lungs. From here, the air passes through the bronchi before entering the lungs. The bronchi are like a network of tubes that keep branching into smaller tubes called bronchioles. At the end of each bronchiole, you will find balloon-like structures called alveoli. The alveoli provide a surface for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. The walls of the alveoli contain a massive network of blood vessels. When we breathe in, we lift our ribs and flatten our diaphragm. As a result, the chest cavity becomes larger. Air gets sucked into the lungs and fills the expanded alveoli. The oxygen in the alveolar air is taken in by the red blood cells in the alveolar blood vessels. The oxygen in the red blood cells is then transported to all the cells in the body. The cells in turn release carbon dioxide, which diffuses into the blood and is then released into the alveoli. In large animals like elephant, it is difficult for oxygen to reach all parts of the body through diffusion. Hemoglobin, a respiratory pigment present in red blood cells, has high affinity for oxygen. This pigment binds with oxygen from the air in the lungs and forms oxyhemoglobin. Later, through oxyhemoglobin, oxygen is distributed to all the tissues in the body. The tissues in turn release carbon dioxide, which diffuses into the nearby blood capillaries. Carbon dioxide is more soluble in water than in oxygen. Therefore, carbon dioxide is generally transported through blood as bicarbonate, which is its dissolved form. In this module, you learned that air enters a human body through the nostril. It moves through the throat and then the trachea. From the trachea, it enters the bronchi and then goes into the lungs. The bronchi form a network of tubes known as bronchioles. Each bronchiole has alveoli at the end. Hemoglobin absorbs oxygen from the air in the lungs and carries it to tissues all over the body.
See here what happens. Trachea, ring of cartilage, then lungs, bronchi, bronchioles, and then like grapes there is a balloon like structures where exchange of gases will takes place inside the blood. So oxygen will be delivered and carbon dioxide will be carried out to the these different parts. Okay, so let's see here what happen in unicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms body is exposed to the environment. So with the help of process of diffusion, they can exchange the gases or some material also, like oxygen they can take in and carbon dioxide can be sent, because surface area is exposed to the environment. But as far as higher animals are concerned, like human beings, like elephant, it is shown here, it is not possible for them to exchange the gases with the help of process of diffusion. So specialized organs are developed, that is called as a respiratory organs. So through the respiratory organ we can human can or some higher animals can exchange the gases, and it will be a easy process for that. So the question is, why breathing process in aquatic animal is more compared with terrestrial animals. So the question is, why breathing process in aquatic animals is more compared with terrestrial animals. So aquatic animals have to take dissolved oxygen from the water, whereas for terrestrial animals the oxygen is available directly in the air. So taking dissolved oxygen is quite difficult for aquatic animals. So in aquatic animals respiration rate is slow, whereas in terrestrial animals respiration rate is higher. Okay. So what is meant by cellular respiration we will see in next period, because you have to write some questions based on this topic. Write down the questions. First question is, explain the process of breathing in human beings. Explain the process of breathing in human beings. Then second question, explain the process of digestion in human beings. Explain the process of digestion in human beings. Third question, what are the parts of alimentary canal? Question third, what are the parts of alimentary canal? Question fourth, write in tabulated form digestive gland and enzymes secreted by them. Digestive gland and enzymes secreted by them. Also write down substrate on which these enzymes are working. Also write down the substrate on which these enzymes are working. Okay, so these are the questions for your homework. Now let us meet in the next video lecture. Till that, take care, stay home, stay safe. Try to complete your homeworks and do reply. It will help me to understand how much progress we are doing at the same time when you are at home. Thank you very much.